Welcome to episode 4 Out of Bounds, a podcast talking about different topics in today's society. I'm your host, Terry, and today I'm talking about dating in 2019, part 1. And I say part 1 because it's a lot to talk about. It's a really big issue, or I should say a big topic, a big phenomenon that has so many layers to it, and I'm sure that I'll, come across different things on different days. So this is the first part. And just focusing today on one kind of concept. So overall though, dating in 2019, if you ask like, what's that about? If you ask, what's that about? Maybe, you've been dating for a long time in a committed relationship, or you married, you don't know. What does that mean, dating in 2019? So this all revolves around, the advent of social media and technology and kind of how that changed the way we interface with people. Not just the tools we got, but then the generations we got too. So if you're around my age, around the, almost 30 area or older, and you're just interacting with people your age, then it might not seem so different. But if you are interacting with people younger than you, then you'll notice the difference in the way they communicate and the way they expect things. And so that, and then if you don't use the old school methods of going out and talking to people or getting set up by a friend or meeting someone at work, then you most likely using the social media tools that everybody is using for what they call online dating. And to me, that still seems like something different, like an eHarmony, like back in the day. But now online dating is just Tinder. It's, OkCupid, it's Black People Meet, it's whatever apps people are using. And even past that, websites, is all that is dating now. So online dating, quote unquote, is dating. And so just talking about in 2019, how all that kind of affects things. And today, one thing I want to focus on that I kind of noticed, and I you know what, I should be fair and be open about my whole situations too. So, again, I'm about to be 28 this year. So I always, when I talk to my friends and people around my age, I always say we were the ones smack dab in the middle. Because again, you had DSL, high speed internet came out right around 6th or 7th grade for us. We're talking about right in the middle of puberty. So that our most formative years happened when the internet started at its infancy. And, so we still remember talking on the phone, not texting, not even have access to the internet, but we also have a good amount of life where we did have that and we saw how it changed. So we're kind of smack dab in the middle. And so, for me, there's definitely the experience and the memories of, dating when it was more traditional and old school, and then having to step into this. Now, for me in particular, it's like actual relationships has been, on hold for a while. And I think that's the craziest part for me is that it's not like I haven't dated. I dated a lot, but as far as officially dating recently, it's been a while. So I just had a long spurt of high school through, most of college, and then most of my adult life after college, I've had official relationships. So as you get to that age and you're like, okay, well now I want to get back into the swing of things, then that's when I find myself having to interact, with some of these tools sometimes. But then I came back to graduate school and I'm back in, at a college, and I'm around a lot younger people and I see how they talk and how they interact, and it's completely different. So one of the biggest things, and I've used most of these apps, and I would say, wholeheartedly, honestly, a lot of the times it is just for the social, not experiment, but I'm trying to see, kind of what everybody else sees. Cause it's hard for me. It's hard for people like our age, I believe, to be fully invested in it like some younger people are, cause that's all they know. We know a different way. And so it's hard for me to fully invest or understand where they come from. So I've used these apps, for those reasons, but, gotta face it at this point. That's how people communicate. That's how people find each other. So anyway, I've used most of these apps. And the thing that I realized, one of the things I realized is that what has been taken away was this element of mystery. It was not so much, I don't know who you are, but it was, I don't know everything about you. So, and I don't really have a list of what I need to know. It's just let me kind of figure you out as we go. And, it's different when you're in high school and you're kind of dating there. College is a more serious form of relationships. And then, of course, as a young adult. But even still, I just think before there was this, okay, I don't have this checklist. I'm meeting you, and however we met, whether it was at school, a certain club, class, through friends, whatever, I'm meeting you. And then we're going to hang out and kind of get to know each other. And we're figuring each other out. As much as we might just say we're hanging out or kicking it, everybody's keeping tabs. Even if you're in a relationship, we know that people are still keeping tabs on their options. And so you're just, kind of marking off in your head mentally, what's this person doing? What could they be to me in the future? Or what qualities they might have? But the thing with the online in 2019 is that you're not a person to get to know. You're a profile to evaluate. And so you get this profile. You're not meeting them in person. So all you're getting is this quick snapshot. Now, the fact that people curate and try to show you the best version of themselves, that's a whole nother story we could talk about another day. But the fact is you just got this quick snapshot profile. It hits you with the measurement. How tall are you? Maybe how much you weigh. What's your sign? What education you have. It's an evaluation of a profile like you evaluating, a resume or a job application. And so it no longer is that era of mystery and kind of just getting to know a person. You're just evaluating real quick. Do they have what I want? No. Moving on to the next. And I wouldn't say it's even like a menu of you going to the restaurant looking for food. I mean, a little bit, but it's more so this idea that I'm on this app or this whatever so I can find the things that I like that are going to match up with me. And I think that's dangerous because you can easily say, and people obviously do now, I don't want somebody that does this. I don't want somebody that does this. I want somebody that likes this, and I want somebody that likes that. And it's just people are carving out this perfect version, quote unquote, that they see in their head. And it's just like, okay, you don't fit it. You don't fit it. You don't fit it. You don't fit it. And the only result I see with that is once in a lifetime, maybe people find their perfect person, but mostly you're going to have people that never find what they're looking for and disappointed, or you have people that just settle because they're tired of looking for that perfect match. And the difference is when you had to be more face to face and you had to be, more in, I don't know the word, close proximity with people, is that I never necessarily remember going into a relationship just saying, okay, here's what my perfect list is. You don't check this box. You don't check this box. And it was more so me discovering what it is that I can deal with and not deal with. And I think that's the value to dating in general was, and why people should date, multiple people. Not, I'm not saying sleep around. I'm saying actually date and have a relationship. And if it's not working out, get out, especially when you're young. If it's not working out, get out of it, go to somebody else, because that's how you learn what you like and what you don't like. Now, somebody in their 40s or something that's really experienced, they can discern A, B, and C have to happen, otherwise this won't work out. And I just give more validation to that. I mean, cause you live life, you dated, even if you haven't dated, you at least live life to know who you are more so. Now that's not guaranteed, but you've had more time to know yourself. But you got people 20 years old, 21, 22 saying this, and this is what I want because that is what is going to work for me. And I can't help but think you don't know that. And when you dated before, you kind of just, it happened and you discovered along the way there was some type of attraction, some type of connection, and you decided to date, and then you continue to learn more about that person. And then, yeah, you'll get to a point where you learn some things that you can't deal with, absolutely, and some things that you can tolerate and how far you can tolerate it. And there's other things that, you absolutely aren't going to do. And so dating in that sense kind of gave you that profile over time. But now that it's just putting a profile, application, a resume out there, you aren't learning that necessarily. You have to declare right away, here's what I got and here's what I'm looking for, or here's what I won't tolerate. And you know what? It's fine. Some people are like, I'll put that out there, but I'm still kind of open. But for the most part, I think it's created this culture where it almost is menu shopping, but it's more evaluation based. It's just like, let me look at this profile. Okay. You are, I don't know. You love dogs. I can't do that. I don't love dogs. So moving on. And so I guess what I'm saying is you miss out on a lot of opportunities of people that could be a great fit for you that you don't know, because it is silly. I would think even to say as we get older and older into our, older age, I think it's silly to say I know exactly the person that is going to work with me. That's the beauty of being human. There's so much to discover and learn that you don't know what you don't know. And so while some people might think this person's the worst ever for me, it might end up being the perfect person for them. And so we of so many stories that way where it just kind of happened. You went with it and you saw where it went and it worked out. But there's not much of that in 2019 because the way you meet people isn't face to face. There isn't anything really pushing you to learn that person. Because, so for example, let's say back before you were in class or you were working, and this is before the internet age, and so you might have a bad first impression with somebody, and you might think like, well, that's nobody I would ever date. I wouldn't get that person time of day. But you have to be around that person, and slowly you might change your mind, or you might slowly see a different version of them. And then you might get curious and want to learn more. And then you might discover, it's better than you thought. But today, I just feel like with that tool that you use, people are so focused on evaluating the profiles in front of them that they don't notice what's around them. I mean, yeah, you'll notice it if you think right away, like that person seems like a good candidate at work, or that person, this new person, or my friend's friend they introduced me to. But for the most part, people just ignore what's around them because they're not even willing to be open. They're not willing to have that discovery because it's like, that's not where I meet people. I don't go to work for that. I don't go to class for that. That doesn't even cross my mind. I'm on the apps because that's where I'm gonna find it at. And so I just feel like that sense of discovery is gone. And I think for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else, it comes with its down moments where things can be rough and you find out things the hard way. But you also then learn more about yourself. You become more resilient in that way. And then you discover things you don't know. There's definitely things now at 28 that I would look for in a woman that I would never have thought I would have looked for as an 18-year-old. I would have never known to look. But that's what happens when you continue to discover, to live, and to be out there with different things. But now it's like this time crunch. A, that's the social pressure, but B, it's also the pressure of, again, just evaluating it. It's like, you don't got what I want, you don't got what I want. And nobody's taking that risk. Nobody's taking that chance. Nobody's trying to discover anything. And so even the matches you have and you match up with somebody or someone you feel like you're connected with, it takes on a different context when it's like, I selected you out of this group because you have the prerequisite skills on paper. Now I want to kind of get to know you in face-to-face interview and see if you actually got what I'm looking for. That is a whole different context than what it used to mean, especially way before me when you couldn't like text. I mean, we didn't get text till the end of high school, but you think as a young adult, if you didn't have texting, you had none of these apps. And yes, you could call people on the phone. That was acceptable back then. But even more than that, most of your interaction was face to face. It takes on a whole different context. It's easy to sit behind the screen and be like, no, no, no. But when you're face to face with somebody, you more times than not, you're going to interact with them at a human level. And as a human, you're not going to be like, no. You're not going to be like, no. Oh, you said you like that. Okay, this is over. No, you said this. Okay, this is over. I'm leaving. You're not going to do that. You're going to stick it out. You're going to learn more about people. But then, that famous phrase that some people think was just a meme and it was fun, but it really embodies this culture. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's people's favorite stuff. Ain't nobody got time for that. And it's just like, some people don't got time, but a lot of us have plenty of time for that to learn and discover. But we think we don't, for whatever reason that we can get into in a different episode. We think we don't have that time. And so everything has to be now. Let me evaluate it now. No, I'm not wasting time with you. Not waste time with you. It could be the horror stories we heard from other people. Who knows? But people just had that mindset of it's a time crunch. I got to get it done now. And I'm not wasting time with anything less than what I picked out myself. And I just think that context of relationships really changes the interaction, and it definitely changes the people that you are willing to interact with. So anyway, go down to the comment section. Let me know what you think about the topic. Dating in 2019 is going to be an ongoing series, but get the conversation started, share it around, thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.